So it's the 24th day of the month of May. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is your Frontier Opening Bell. I am Adesina. And of course, let's get the show started looking at the markets across the continent. Just a snapshot of how we finished. A little bit mixed on Tuesday, the 23rd. The Nigerian market added about 50 basis points. That's about 0.5% on the all-share index. Some good news because the banking sector remained on that upward trajectory. GTCO, Zenith Bank, FBN Holdings were traded strongly higher. The shares of Nigerian breweries, which is the largest brewing company, well, but that was offset by big jump in the big banking names I just earlier mentioned. The BRVM down by 0.31%, brought down by a couple of big names, including the Bank of Africa, Niger Republic, and the Bank of Africa, Benin Republic. Those two banking names contributed to the downside on the BRVM composite. The Egyptian market up by 0.14% after starting the week in a negative territory. The Nairobi stock market shook off Monday's negative finishing line, end up 0.23% better, still below the 100 level, by the way, if you're reading the tea leaves correctly. You've got the South African market down by 1.56%, the resources, industrials, and the financials indices were in the negative territory on Tuesday. So the markets is keeping their eyes open on how the SARB will decide in the next couple of days. The rand, however, continued to remain steady against the US dollar ahead of the SARB decision. So let's take this all the way straight to the East African corridor and look at some of the stories making the headlines as we start another trading. The East Africa's central banks mulling digital currency to ease payments within their various systems. Everyone trying to find ways to ensure that payment system remain very robust, and that a little bit further depressuring of the stress on the local currency and the dollar, by the way, so looking for a way out. But again, if you look at e-payments or e-naira in Nigeria, which hasn't really been strongly adopted, well, that will give the central banks in East Africa something to think very well before they move in that direction. But they've got out to do what they've got to do as far as the system is concerned. The Eurobond, Kenya Eurobond yields is defying Moody's downgrade, while Total Africa Oil said they exited Kenya's Turkana region crude oil project. So that puts the whole project in the pockets of the British-owned Tulu Oil, and that is the latest. And the president of the DRC, Tshisekedi, His Excellency Tshisekedi, is heading to China for a visit, and on the card will be mineral trade deals with the world's second largest economy. In the meantime, the BGFI Bank says it's launched a private banking and asset management firm, and that's one of the biggest banks in Central Africa. So when you look into the West African Nigerian markets, you would lose trillions of dollars by selling raw lithium and platinum to the advanced economies such as China and the Western world. That was the warning salvo fired yesterday by the AfDB President Dr. Adesina at the ongoing annual meetings of the DFI in Sharm El-Sheik. And the rate-setting meetings of the Central Bank of Nigeria monetary policy is expected today at about 2 o'clock at the end of their two-day meeting. The Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, is expected to brief the media at his usual presser. And the Ghana's bank profit up about 2.8 billion, selling CDs in the first 3 months of this year after the bank's profits slumped about 6.6 billion in losses for 2022. And inflation within the West Africa's French-speaking economy is about 8 French-speaking countries in West Africa trended lower at 5.7% in the month of March against 6.6% in the month of January. And Cameroon is targeting at least 750,000 tons of rice production in the near term. And those are headlines from across West Africa. Let's take it all the way to Southern Africa, by the way, to see what's making the big story. The rand remained against the dollar ahead of SARB decisions. And the Coronation Fund Managers first quarter profits slumped about 97%, earnings per share in at about 6.2 rand. News coming through this morning said that Coronation Fund Managers been slammed with a Supreme Court order, and that made the company on Tuesday to stop dividend payments to shareholders. The SARS case, that's the South Africa's Revenue Service case, which Coronation Fund Managers is still crunching the JSE-listed financial services company. And two separate government agencies in Zimbabwe have released the new set of reports asking the government to loosen the country's FX regime, as well as saying that the country's currency, the Zimbabwe dollar, is overvalued. And all that is coming through from Zimbabwe. While Zimplo, which is listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, is looking to conclude 49% stake in Basem. And that's the story from there. It's taken with the Southern African community, where the Total Mozambique's funding is signaling that business is going to be back. Operations will soon resume at that multi-billion-dollar facility on LNG. And the Tanzania's CRDB Bank is stepping into other countries in Southern Africa, Comoros Islands, Malawi, as well as Zambia. And that's part of the bank's new growth plan to expand its footprints outside East Africa. In North Africa, of course, Sharm El-Sheik is where the international investors, business leaders across Africa, policymakers are meeting for the AfDB annual meetings. So the DFI is granting about $345 million to Egypt to boost the country's access to Chinese bonds. In the meantime, Morocco is partnering the AFC, which is the Africa Finance Corporation, headquartered in Lagos, to advance critical financing for local small and medium enterprises. Is one of the most industrialized and advanced economies on the African continent, north of the continent, by the way, outside sub-Saharan Africa. And in Egypt, the Tangier Medport is among the top 4 companies with 193.48 points in the 2022 index. That is in Morocco. And the Tunisian Ayman Benzina has been appointed the managing director of the stock market intermediary company called the BMC Capital Securities. And those are your business, investments, and economic headlines this Wednesday. Do have a great day, everyone. I am Bosin Omofai. I'll see you very soon. And please remember to follow us on our social media handles, as well as this show. You can watch it again on our YouTube at Frontier Africa Reports. It's free. You can subscribe. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.